I've been reading this book on cozy minimalism, and I'll put a picture here for you. I've been tinkering around in my house as a result of reading this book, of just changing things, trying to add elements that are going to make it feel more cozy. Now that I've decluttered as much as I want to declutter, I'm really down to the basics. And now I want to add in things that are going to make it feel more warm and inviting and more homey. I'm making some changes in my bedroom and my living room specifically. This video, I'm going to give you a tour of our cozy minimalist living room. First, let me show you what life was like a few months ago. Here you can see there are toys everywhere all the time. I've got this giant cube shelf from IKEA. I have a cube shelf that was underneath the television that also held toys, books, and anything else that just got stuffed in there. What was missing were end tables, coffee tables, lamps, plants, things that made it feel cozy. It was basically just a giant playroom. So I sold the giant IKEA shelf and I changed out the TV stand underneath the television and I kept the couch and the ottoman in place. My first step was to position the furniture. Our couch usually faces the television and I have the ottoman in front of it, but I did try a few different things. I looked online at the best positioning of furniture for small living rooms, and the Decluttologist had a two-step process that she recommended as a surefire way to know if your furniture is right or wrong. She said take 2 photographs, one from the entryway and one facing the focal point. So I positioned the furniture a couple different ways and tried that method. I ended up going with option 1, but here was another option where the couch was very visible from the entryway and looked really good when you walked in, but it wasn't very functional. We'd have to go around the couch to get to the dining room or the kitchen or the outside, which is high traffic for me. So I ended up going with option 1. So my first step was to position the furniture in the way it felt right in the room. And that was facing the focal point, the television with the ottoman. My next step was to add tables and lamps. I added tables and lamps from my own house. I went shopping in my own house in the crawl space. I released a video a few days ago about me decluttering our crawl space and our storage spaces in our house. So the first place I went shopping was my own house. Another recommendation from her book was to consider where you have electrical outlets, because that will play a role in where you're allowed to put lamps. And that was a factor for me. I only have 2 outlets on this corner of this room. And so I really had to figure out the right way to position the lamps. I didn't want to add an extension cord with the dog and the kids. It just became a little much. So I had to kind of switch things up to figure out the right way to put things so that we had access to the electrical outlets. She had also recommended to keep the couch away from the wall, that it actually can make a room feel bigger, which is true. However, I had 2 lamps with their cords running to the back behind the couch, and the dog runs back there and he kept unplugging it, and the kids ended up running behind the couch, and I just didn't want that kind of safety hazard going on. So I ended up pushing the couch back as a way to prevent the kids and the dog from running behind there with the cords. Then I started folding in some cozy things I found. I have endless blankets in this house for some reason, and I found more in the crawl space, and so I started layering textures and cozy items. I added knitted blankets, I added the wooden crate, I added cotton rope baskets. I added things that added some texture and some coziness to the room. We use our family room for watching TV, for playing games. We also play games at the dining room table right next to us. I wanted to add in some things that were going to keep us in this room or keep us at the dining room table as a family. So I added family games, and I added this Papasan chair for extra seating. It was in the way back of the crawl space, and I'm really glad we hung on to it because now it fits in this room real well. So that's what I could add in with the items from the crawl space. I added in tables, the lamps, the extra seating, some blankets, the wooden basket, some family games, and I just sort of lived with it for a couple of days. At one point, my oldest even tried to lay claim on this chair. So I had a couple of missing pieces that I still wanted to add in. One was plants, and I just didn't have any plants in the house at all. I don't know why. So I did have to go to Home Depot and spend some money on plants. I feel like it was a really good decision to do that. It was less than $50 with our military discount at Home Depot for this giant fern and this gorgeous tropical plant that I have in the front window. And then the other final thing I wanted to do was add something on the wall in between the living room and the family room. This gorgeous paper birch tree painting is in our crawl space. Okay, let me give you the after tour. We've been living with it for a few days now and changed up some things than what you've seen in the video. So let me give you the after of the way it is today. My kids are watching a movie, so they're a little enthralled right now. But what you can see here is that I've got the Papazon chair next to the antique table. This is a chess game from the Middle East that my husband brought home about 10 years ago on one of his trips. This little checker set has made its way around the family room. The kids have been playing it, and so it just moves around, which is one of the beautiful things that I love about this approach of cozy minimalism, is that they can focus in on something and it's still aesthetic in the room. Games and books have found their way into the room the last couple of days, and I'm leaving them here because this is what this is. It's a family room. It's for us. And in true form, I am trying to be a minimalist, but sometimes I'm just minimalish. And there's a dog bone underneath the couch. One day while the baby was taking a nap here on the floor, I experimented with things in a different spot. I had tried the large fern over on the other side, but it kept hitting me in the head when I'd sit and watch TV, so I switched it to the other side. Another way I feel minimalish and not minimalist yet is this couch. Over here on this back corner is where the dog ate the corner, and I have to have that repaired. And then over here, my youngest took a marker to the couch, so I'm decorating that section with a blanket. And this is another section the dog had chewed and I had repaired. Those are the things that make me feel not quite there yet.
I'll get you one. Yeah, I want some. Thank you. Actually, guys, we gotta keep it in the bag and then dump it on the table.
Who put the Band-Aid on the lamp?
Me.
Why?
Because I want Band-Aids. It
Okay.
was Elsa's Band-Aid.
It was Elsa's Band-Aid and you put it on the lamp?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.